Hello, my name is Jezreel Garcia, and today we'll be talking about MyAnimeDB, a mobile application that was created using Swift and Xcode. Alright, so originally the project idea came into mind at the beginning of the semester. I was thinking if we had something like IMDb, which is, if you haven't heard of IMDb, is a website in which you can go. You have many TV shows and movies. They're rated based on certain amount of stars. People has information about actors and production companies and directors. It has comments and reviews and people. So my ideas was, what if we had IMDb for anime? Now, this idea wasn't to create a full-on website in order to have a database for anime, which, if you're not sure what anime is a medium that is it originates from Japan and is it's a animation from Japan, and it is a huge thing over there. It encompasses many, if not all, genres. They are not just, they have anime for children. A lot of people remember Dragon Ball when they were young. They think about Sailor Moon, they think about Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! And just to name a couple of famous ones for people of my generation or slightly before and slightly after. But anime has been a huge thing in Japan for many years, and it continues to be, as you see them every 4 months. About 40-50 new shows are coming out, and anime has grown and expanded outside of Japan. It's reaching many countries, such as Mexico, Spain, England, Australia, and going to here in the US as well. And although we do have something like IMDb for anime, places like MyAnimeDB and analyst.co, which I use in this the development of this app, there are no mobile applications that give you the chance to share or maybe look up certain shows and then maybe share them within each other, add it as your favorites, let people know so you can show them. And knowing that there are people out there in what we call the anime community who would love this as well, I thought it was a great idea for an app for this class. And so here's a class diagram. This view controller loads up everything in our initial view for a mobile app. We have a search bar, which we have a search button here, but we have a search bar in which we would type something in, hit the search button. Search button would do an API call. That we have a function right here. This API call will go to get token, which is a function that does a couple of things. Initially, when it starts, view controller will call API authenticate in its view did load in order to get a token to be allowed access into the analyst API. But once we do a search, we do an API call, and an API call we call search anime here, which does a search query of whatever you typed into the search bar. We do something called, we call get data in order to get the results and then load them onto over here in our table view controller. And then our table view controller, we have the search data, which when we get data, it sends it and saves it into the search data as an NS mutable array. We have our table view, and what we do is we load up our table. But when we do a get JSON, we do a reload table once we already get JSON. And then we go to the table view, we load up the search queries, and then we show up in a table. So here we have our core data. So I implemented a favorites function. So we have another table, and then our initial view. Why don't we have something that says view favorites? And so when we do the view favorites and we click that, we go to the second table view controller. Here goes to our core data, calls all of the favorites it has, which we are able to save We'll be here in our detail view controller, which our second table view controller, called our favorites, loads up the ones we've already saved beforehand. It shows them off. If there's none, it won't show any. If there is, it'll show them in table view. You have the option to delete on here by click, drag, and delete. This is how we view the favorites, but initially you will start out with no favorites. So in order to save this into core data, our view controller connects to our table view controller. So our table view controller, when we look up the search queries, we're able to click on one. When we click it, we go to our web view controller here. On the bottom, we have something called add to favorites. When we click add to favorites, we add the name, the description, a URL, image, and the ID into our favorites. We've already saved it to our favorites. We can access it by going to favorites and go to our second table view controller. The second table controller, we click on it and we go to a detail view, which shows the title, description, and I have a button connected with a segue that says, well, let's view this on their website online. We do another web view, and we go to web view controller, which is the connection between here and there, and we're able to see our favorite show onto the initial web view. So trying to follow the MVC architecture, we have here a model of controller in a view. So in our view, we'll have our typical displays and user interactions. So you can input their search. It'll display the title, description, list of favorites, web view, table view, etc. And we'll have the controller managing what happened here and how it connects to the model. And our model will have things like accessing core data, like our favorites, our title, description, URL, etc. We'll also have the controller calling the web API. Here we'll have an API call in our function getToken. So we'll authenticate and get a token in order to access the API. We'll be able to use search query in order to search. It will notify the controller of data changes. And so the controller just manages the things between both of them. Alright, so capabilities and limitations. So its current capabilities is you're able to do searches. Initially, you could only do searches of one word, but that was fixed. So you're able to do searches like you can search dragon, it would give you search queries, or you search something like, again, using the most popular thing, Pokemon, you'll be able to see it as well. You're able to add to favorites and see those favorites. You're able to see them on the website. So we'll have functionalities as an API call. We're doing that for the search functions, and when we see it on the website, we're doing a UI web view. And we have here a welcoming MyAnimeDB. We have a search bar, a search button, little image in order to keep this app from being plain, and we have our button to go to favorites. So here in our search bar, when we want to search something, we can choose something simple. Let's put Dragon Ball. It's pretty popular. Click search, and if you notice here, nothing is populating, but then a few things show up. The table view does not load any cells until the API call is done. Therefore, we can't have anyone just clicking on a cell and then errors because of that. So let's pick on the first one, Dragon Ball. So from here, we'll go from table view and we'll go to the image view. Alright, so our image view has loaded here. So we have a picture, Dragon Ball, and we're able to go through. We have info, we want to click on info, and it will show us what I assume is how many episodes, if it's finished airing, etc. And if you keep looking down, you can see characters and even a small description. So you're able to click on add to favorites. So when you click add to favorites, it'll add. And then we'll go back. Let's check out our go to favorites. I already have pre-populated. So here's the one we just added, Dragon Ball. I had already added Pokemon, Grim Guard Fantasy and Ash, Cowboy Bebop. So now we have Dragon Ball here as well. So we have 4 populated already. So using our example of Dragon Ball, we'll click on this. We'll show the name, a description. We'll give an option to view online, which click on here and we'll go to the image view. We've already seen that though, so, and see, we use the image URL to load up an image, and we have the image here when it loads up in the table view, and that's pretty much all this mobile application can do. Some limitations though: we do not have any editing features in terms of having an account, logging in, and editing things and your favorites on Analyst.co, as Analyst.co does allow for users to register, add favorites in theirs, and so it's kind of like a more of a proof of concept at this point, but it doesn't have the full capabilities that the other ones has. So when it comes to the lessons learned, a good colors diagram is a good guide to start, because usually we have a habit, I think me and other students and other developers, especially those that are just studying and aren't really in the field yet, that we just want to start coding rather than design things and see how it's supposed to work. So when we did that class diagram, it got me thinking, what did I need, what was needed, and the difference between my current class diagram and my initial class diagram is actually a lot larger than I would have expected, but it implements everything that is needed, and so I know that if you have a good class diagram, it's a lot easier to code, but having any at all shows that you put in thinking and helps for the development. Permissions are important. I needed to have a token in order to access the web app API for Analyst.co, and initially I wasn't going to use this, but because I wasn't able to get permission for other APIs, it kind of pushed back my work on this and pushed back the schedules in which I had set up already. So I learned very important to have those permissions in order to edit and call APIs. Interest equals willingness. This is probably the best lesson I have learned, because I am very interested not in just developing, but I'm interested in what I was developing, which is a database for anime, which is a medium I quite enjoy and I've been into for a couple of years now. And so creating this was something that really had me excited from the beginning. I thought about it right away. I wanted to create this application, and I'm thinking in the future maybe I might even finish it, complete it, improve it, and then maybe put it in the market, because I think it's something that many people like me would really enjoy to have. Truthfully, I don't think those days were wasted. I think it went in not only for improvement of my own developing skills, but it was something I was interested in, and therefore I was willing to do it. So in conclusion, this project I think encompassed a lot of things that we really need to do. I do have little suggestions for improvements for the projects. A lot of students wait to be told to start on something, and although that is a habit we need to get rid of, I do believe that if we had like a more set up system of, oh, you need to do phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, which we already have, and we have dates on there, but maybe put in a little reminder to let us know we have to do this or do that, and maybe give us a little more time, what grades, what we done wrong, what we done good, because when we submitted our first phase, or the class diagram, prototypes and whatnot, we had no idea whether our project proposals were going to be accepted or not, and I think that left a lot of a huge uncertainty in most of us. It left us with doubts, and we weren't sure if we should start coding or if we should wait. Is it gonna pass? Is it gonna be allowed? Although we've seen MVC diagrams, it doesn't really tell us how to develop them, and since our applications and our code is a lot different from MVC diagrams that you will find online, it was kind of hard for me, at least, in order to do the translation. I kind of had to do a lot of research myself, see like, how do you do the MVC diagram, and I still wasn't sure whether it passed as a good one or not. So I think just focusing a little more on the MVC diagrams and showing us how it's done, and maybe do a quick review of class diagrams as well. Although we are supposed to know it by now, a lot of us didn't have a lot of exposure into that, and that was a little difficult for us. But overall, I really enjoyed this project, working on this application, and I'd just like to give a thanks for our professor and TAs for giving us this opportunity for this project. It was a great experience, and I hope the students next semester are able to enjoy this as well. Thanks.